You're listening to Fight Jokes About Everything, a Night Shift Radio original. For more information, visit nightshiftradio.com. Okay, it is Monday, January 18th, 2021, and we are going to kick off today. First and foremost, we do want to celebrate the life of Martin Luther King Jr., a fantastic civil rights leader who was just an absolute amazing person. Today is the day that we recognize that. However, that being said, we should be recognizing his teachings and his beliefs and his fight for justice always. That being said, we're going to go ahead and talk about a very white show. Okay, so today we are going to talk about Wandavision. So Wandavision finally launched on Disney Plus Friday, just this past couple of weekend, and there's been a lot of buzz about it. It has been acclaimed as one of Marvel's highest rated shows. It blew a record for Disney Plus of people watching it. It's just a very big deal. So there's been a lot of talk about WandaVision over the past couple of days, and a lot of the people have been talking about the things like, here's the Easter eggs you may not have noticed from, symbols and the sword symbol and, all of the little subtle references to everything, like on the magic case, Vision's original symbol and logo is on there of what the Mind Stone looked like. We're not going to talk about those things. I consider myself a comic book and a superhero nerd. However, I am not to that level. So there's a lot of things that I'm sure I missed and a lot of them that I read on articles, and there are 5 million articles on this exact topic. What instead we're going to talk about is the actual way WandaVision is filmed, the way it was scripted for at least the first 2 episodes. I'm going to put this right off the bat. We will, in fact, be spoiling the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, so be mindful that that is happening. So if you have yet to watch WandaVision, or if you don't care about some form of spoilers, turn away now. Otherwise, that was your warning. Let's begin. So the first thing that people may have noticed for the very first 2 episodes of WandaVision is that it isn't filmed entirely in black and white. Now, this is done on purpose. This is very reminiscent of the early days of Bewitched, I Love Lucy, and the Dick Van Dyke Show. There's a lot of aspects to it, into the cartoon, cell drawing intro, to the song, to the canned laughter, like filmed in front of a live studio audience. But more specifically, it's also filmed like one of those shows. Everything is very 3-wall, 2-camera type deal where, everything swaps back and forth. This is like My Life in 3 Cameras. If anyone has ever seen Scrubs, it's an episode where they reminisce about old sitcom style. And this is done a lot like this. It's very much done in the realm of I Love Lucy. There's moments where, Wanda will turn to the camera and, or we'll have our ooh moments. People will pause for the laughter and the, basically the actors are pausing for the audience reactions. And I think that's very important. Now, obviously, we're going to go down the line to talk about, why this is crazy, the things that it's done. If you want to go into the actual Marvel spoils realm and deep dive into what it possibly could be, there's been a lot of theories from MODOK to S.W.O.R.D kind of like running this in her head because she's dealing with the post-traumatic stress of Vision dying. So they've basically created this world for Wanda, but throughout the series we realize that this is probably a bad thing, that maybe she has been captured and is being tortured, or maybe it's not even Wanda's head at all. Maybe it's in Vision's, although it's pretty obvious it's in Wanda's because in the end of one of the episodes they say like, Wanda, who is doing this to you? Wanda, who is this? So she's obviously under some form of psychic attack. But what I do want to point out is the homages that are there. So one of the biggest things for the I Love Lucy thing is we see Wanda and Vision in their bedroom and they have 2 separate beds. This was very common in sitcoms for the main characters, and the I Love Lucy is a really great example. And Bewitched is another one where the husband and wife will have 2 twin beds. Basically, they sleep on their own. Well, at one point, they actually pushed their 2 beds together, making one big one. This was something that I Love Lucy did. They had a single, they had just a bed for the two of them. It was very controversial at the time, and it was very groundbreaking at the time for them to do so. And so this is a fun little homage that WandaVision did to them. One of the other things we see is the weird scenarios where Wanda will be in the kitchen floating floating plates or floating the dinner and putting it together and almost getting caught by Vision's boss and having the window shut and stuff like that. This is a very Bewitched or like I Dream of Jeannie scenario. Those have happened on both of those shows, that exact scenario where, one of them is cooking dinner for the husband's boss because he has to make a good impression to get the promotion or whatever it is. And, they almost get caught and there's like the shenanigans ensue. So we saw that happen in one of the episodes. But what's great about it is that the way that it's portrayed, we see that I Love Lucy, it's filmed in a very specific way, but the minute that Wanda starts to break out of this trance or whatever it is that she's in, the film changes completely. So the angles change, the quality of the film change. It no longer looks like that series. It looks more like a film. It looks more like a Marvel movie, but just in black and white. So the angles change. So instead of that very like wide shot, everything static, it's not like wide shot, medium shot, wide shot, medium shot. It's like from down below up, close up of her face, like over the shoulder, this, like looking down on a thing, like things start to feel more 3D and less in a 2D environment. This is really big. I thought this was a really great tool to show the shift between I'm just living my world to wait a minute, something isn't exactly right here. This is her Truman Show moment, I guess. And I think what's awesome about that is on top of the fact that they're paying homage to I would say arguably the first and best sitcoms to have ever come out of the world, of history. I Love Lucy, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, Dick Van Dyke. This is the golden age of television, not without its now problems, but there's a lot of things that paved way and were very groundbreaking for shows like Friends. And even, to say Sex and the City and stuff like that, like Friends and Seinfeld, and a lot of those shows like Full House, all of the TGIF shows, they owe their success to shows like I Love Lucy and Bewitched that really set the stage for this. Now, the character of Vision, obviously raises questions about, a lot of the things we saw on some of these shows. Specifically, maybe not I Dream of Jeannie. We very much knew what Jeannie did. I Love Lucy, we know that Ricky ran a nightclub, and that was what he did. Which, by the way, if Ricky ran a very successful nightclub, why did they live in such a tiny apartment? You know what I'm saying? Like they could have bought a huge house. Anyways, but So Vision gets to his job and he's, punching numbers, but it's, it's funny because like all the desks are just facing directly towards the camera. This is where you get your three walls. When they say breaking the fourth wall, that is the fourth wall. So 1, 2, 3, and the fourth would be the camera. Like right now I'm breaking the fourth wall for those of you watching on YouTube because I'm staring directly at you. I'm talking to you. Yes, you specifically, and for those of you listening on podcasts, mind your own business. Just kidding. Keep listening. But anyways, and Vision says like, what is it exactly that we do here? And what is it exactly that I do here? So he even brings up the question of the ambiguity we had in a lot of the shows where it's like, well, husband's going off to work and he's heading off to do his very important job. And it's like, but what exactly do you do? Like, we know that Major John or whatever, I Dream of Jeannie's husband, we know that he worked for NASA and he was an astronaut, but like what exactly did he do? Same thing with Bewitched. I don't even remember what on Bewitched what her husband did. Dick Nelson? I don't remember. Major Dick? I don't remember. But anyways, so the whole idea of that sitcom is great. And one of the biggest criticisms a lot of people who didn't really understand were like, well, what happened to Wanda's accent? She used to have a Sokovian accent, a Russian accent, but now it's just gone, and I don't even understand where it went. Why doesn't she have an accent anymore? Does the actress just not want to do the accent? Which, by the way, the actress, of course, is Elizabeth Olsen, the forgotten Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen sister, who, she's pretty good. But So the whole idea is that she has been put into these sitcoms. So she is talking in a way that she relates to the sitcom. In fact, there's many times where Vision will say things like, well, golly gee, he'll use phrases that are in that 50s, sort of television realm, because that's the sort of mindset that she's been brought into, and we can only assume for nefarious ways, reasons why she is in this, in fact, mindset, and why everything's happening. So she's living via the stage that has been set for her. Now, one of the things that we can think is, towards the end of the second episode, we've seen hints at, like the radio, being like, Wanda, something's going on. She picks up the toy out of the trash, and its color, think Pleasantville. And then in the end, of course, they have that rewind moment, and now everything's in color. And I think what's going to be really cool is we're going to see ourselves progress through the history of sitcoms. And I think we're going to do so for a very cool reason. So we started off in that I Love Lucy, Bewitched, and stuff like that. And now I feel like we're going to move into that, like All in the Family and like Sanford and Son and stuff like that. And we're going to keep going. And eventually maybe we'll get to something more akin to Friends, or, maybe it'll just break away and it'll be more like Desperate Housewives, which is very likely, given that the cast is mainly women about that. So we've seen the instance of potentially Monica Rambeau, who is the daughter of Maria Rambeau, who was best friends with Captain Marvel. And we know that in the comics, Monica Rambeau does in fact take over the helm of Captain Marvel. So we don't exactly know why she's potentially there. We've seen other things like Clea. We're not going to talk about her yet. That is, again, we'll leave that for people that are more in the comic book savvy world. But it's very interesting watching those first two episodes through the lens of, why are they filming him in the way of I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke Show? Like, is it just like wouldn't it be cute if we did this? Or is it more like hey, we're doing this for a very specific reason, and we're growing the show and doing the show for this? Because you're going to see, we're only 2 episodes in. Much like The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, WandaVision will air every Friday with brand new episodes. The first 2 episodes airing just this past Friday. So what do you guys think? What do you think about the first 2 episodes of WandaVision? Tweet at me your thoughts. You can tweet at me at @TheMichaelFight on Twitter if you want. You can also tag me on Instagram at MichaelFight. But I would love to know what you guys are thinking of WandaVision so far. What did you think of them paying homage to I Love Lucy, all of the classic black and white sitcoms? I would absolutely love to know what you guys think and how you're feeling about WandaVision moving forward. This is the first Marvel installment we've had in well over a year, and it's going to be the kickoff of Phase 4. We have this, we have Hawkeye, we have Spider-Man 3 that's filming right now, we have Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness, which is filming, which we do know that Wanda, Scarlet Witch, is a part of, and it's being directed by Sam Raimi, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see where this goes. I'm excited. I really loved WandaVision, but again, I loved the jump from traditional sitcom like TV style filming to that film style look. It happened a couple of times, and I just thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a wonderful tool. Kudos to the director of photography for that one, for doing that and thinking that through. It was just a really great technique, really, really cool. And it definitely changed the emotion of everything the minute it changed. It was very, very cool. So again, thanks a lot for listening, everyone. Thanks a lot for subscribing. For more information, visit nightshiftradio.com. And don't forget to share this podcast with a friend that may, be an old TV fan. They would absolutely love to, talk more about this. So thanks a lot, and we will see you on